Hello and welcome to the video lecture on physical database design. So what is the purpose of the design? All right, so what we need to do is we need to take the logical description, right, your ERDs, and then your ERDs along with the relational model. We need to analyze that. So now we need to get into technical specifications. So up until now, it's, oh yeah, you know, we need to store this entity, and these are the attributes we want to keep track of, and these are how the entities are related one to another. Now we need to set up technical specifications, and that is going to rely heavily on the decision of what database management system we're going to decide to use. For your project, of course, you're using Microsoft Access, but out in the real world, right, we're going to be using things like Oracle, we're going to be using things like SQL Server or MySQL, IBM's DB2. Is a vast array of choices we're going to have. And again, cost is going to be associated with that, along with what our technical specifications are. How fast do we need to get this data? How much data are we going to be storing? How much is this going to grow? How fast do we need to get the data out? Are we and our management team willing to wait 30 seconds for a report to be produced or not? Or do they need it immediately? All of those kinds of decisions are going to directly affect our physical database design. So then what's the goal? The goal would be to provide adequate performance. Okay, so adequate is associated directly with cost. How much money are you willing to spend? If you have all the money in the world, you're going to get all the performance that you need. But, of course, we are all constrained by budgetary requirements. So we're going to talk about adequate performance based on your budgets. And at the same time, we need to ensure a certain level of database integrity, security, and recoverability. And what does that mean? So the database integrity is, is the data being stored properly? Do we have orphaned records? Do we have simply bad data? Those kinds of constraints that we have to put into place in the database. Security. What level of security are we talking about? If we have very low level security because we're a mom and pop store, that's going to have one cost associated with it. If we're a Citibank and Goldman Sachs or something like that, our security level is going to have to be much, much higher. And then, of course, recoverability. Are we willing to lose data due to disasters? How can we recover? Are we going to store 1 day's worth of data? Are we going to store weeks worth of data? Are we going to store all of our data? Are we going to store summarized data that we can recover? What are our parameters as far as recoverability is concerned? So again, that is those two things are what are going to drive our design process. And that is the end of the physical database design